Hey, I'm Decathlon Gamer. Welcome back to PCM21 Career Mode Episode 111. We are at the Tour of Britain. We're getting really close to the end of the season here. There's quite a few races left, but the big races have mostly winded down. So at this stage, it's more about just kind of quickly navigating the time and getting on into the next season. But there's a couple opportunities here and there to do something, and this is one of those. Tour of Britain, it is eight stages in length, but there's an 8K time trial. You know my opinion on anything under 10K. And then this one punchy finish. I'm estimating that this is about a 4 to 4.5K climb, maybe a shade under 5 here at the finish, and it's fairly steep. If it's made difficult enough, the punchers will struggle to still be present at the end of that 4.5K. If it starts off a little easy and it doesn't get too hard until the last couple of K, then it's absolutely a puncher's day. Now, I don't have a team that's built all that great to be punchers. I'm much better as a climbing team. So, I may as well be bold, attempt something, and that is aggressive early in the climb with the team already out front, which we're down to 23K here. And I need to get water one last time. I've neglected that. I've gone so fast through this with the introduction that I've skipped right on into the last time getting water and need to get the team active and going for the plan for what is to come, which is I'm going to sprint train this. I want to be aggressive, I want to be at the front, and I want to make it difficult early on so that instead of being a puncher's day, it's going to be a climber's day. So Karaman could benefit and get in a good, strong position. And we are nearly done with the water test. There it is.
The escapees have surrendered. The pack gave them no chance.
12K to go. Okay, we are going to get everybody back up into position. Have these guys that have slipped down make their way back forward. Isakov, let's find you some space so you can do that.
There are just 10 kilometers left.
Okay, now inside 10K, there is not a hard push right now. Meaning it's going to be easy to get back in position. There's the tail end. And I think with 9K to go, we'll turn this corner. Last two guys coming up. And let's do it. 8.3K. This is a good time to get out front and set ourselves up. So Karaman's the obvious choice. He's got a +3 on the race day condition, and he's already our punchiest rider anyway. And after that level up he had not so long ago, he's definitely punchier than he was previously. He's got good stamina resistance today. You could see there's some fatigue from the chase that was, meaning this is going to make it that much harder on others. Isakov, not normally a puncher, but he looks really strong today with that +4. Yurcevic is the puncher that I think will lead them out. Martin Guerrero, Kikovci, proper guys for the job, are, well, not so proper today. Alright, we will use Maida here on the flat, get him out going strong. I think we'll push it about a 94, see what that does. As long as we're not impacting the red bar of the back end, we'll be good. Okay, already down to 6K now. Speed up a little bit more. Pressure's on. Kikovci's not going to last long here. He is more of a buffer to everyone else than anything else.
5 kilometers to the finish line.
Maida, 99 for a little bit. 4.5K. Okay, on to a little acceleration from Kikovci. Gel up for these guys. And that's all he's going to get. Maida might be able to grab onto the rear end of the group and help break toe if we're going too hard too early. It's possible. We're going to split these guys off. Okay, on to Martin Guerrero now. watching that red bar, 3.8. Okay, doing a little bit of damage here, but just a little bit, and we're down to 3K already. And we are splitting riders off. We're at 105, and it is stretched thin. Martin Guerrero got us to 2.9 before running out of red bar. And I want to take a little look further back. The only one that is up beside us right now is Bernal, and he's having to push already, of course, with an 85 mountain plus the bonuses that they get. I mean, that's what, 89 mountain? I don't know what his race day condition is, but he's looking absurd in terms of how strong he is. So he's probably not even hurting that bad. Jorgensen and these other guys aren't going to contend too much. Sivikov maybe, but I've done pretty well against Sivikov. Hermans might still try to get into the mix, but I think mostly we're looking at Jorgensen and Bernal as the only contenders. And right now, Karaman looks fantastic because he's got all those teammates in front of him. So Martin Guerrero's done. On to Luco. 2.8.
You see that? You can read the pain on the
and we've
faces
split
at the
off
back
the
of
field.
peloton. There's a growing
We will
number
take a
of
look in
riders
just a
left
little bit
behind.
at... Oh, we had split off the field. Just behind us here, there's a gap opening. Here is where that gap is opening. And I honestly think at 2.5K to go, these guys are probably too far back. Bernal is beginning to fall back. Jurcevic is a punchy guy. We definitely want to go right at that 95, right at his limit. He's going to give a big acceleration here, and I really hope he can do something to split off. 2K to go. Okay, this is allowing some of the other guys to come up. We gave an extra 60 meters for Jurcevic on that one. Okay, we will go 93 Isakov, who is fairly punchy, but this will get a little bit of his mountain rating helping out. 1.5K. Okay, now sprint Isakov. Get yourself up there. Karaman, inside 1 kilometer to go. This is not sprint territory yet. This is just have a go, and look how he is making some progress. Now attack into the lead. Will he be able to keep it? Red bar is gone. And it is. It's a win for Ferhat, Karaman, Egan Bernal, Sivikov. There's those contenders we talked about. Isakov hangs on for 4th himself. Hermans and Jorgensen, told you those were the contenders. Everybody else was already too far back. And look at this huge gap. It's a minute to this chase group right here. And they're all inside the top 20. That is going to open some solid gaps. And Karaman with his time trialing. We'll see how he does on stage number 8. But 6 of the 8 stages are just sprints. And all those sprinters lost plenty of time, meaning they are out of contention. Karaman gets a 10-second time bonus. That will give him the race lead. Probably. I would suspect. I didn't pay attention to the first 2 stages. But Karaman at just 10 seconds down, meaning 2 different stage winners in the first 2 stages, will definitely be in position to have the lead now. I don't see how Bernal would have had any time bonuses previously. Same with Sivikov. So, wow. Yeah, okay. So far, so good. Oh, okay. Well, this is good. We've been given time gaps here. Quite a few time gaps. 4 seconds over Bernal, plus the stage bonus is going to make it 8 seconds. Sivikov at 9, along with Isakov and Hermans. Jorgensen at 19. The next group of 4 at 29, and then 45 and 58 seconds. I saw them cross at 102, but hey, that's okay, because that was not the only time gap. There was plenty along the way. And yes, Karaman, 8-second lead. Sivikov at 15 down. Hermans and Isakov at 19 seconds behind. Jorgensen at 29. And then, yeah, we have opened a very solid gap with a short 8-kilometer prologue / time trial left to go. Now, here's the problem with Karaman. He's balanced. He's balanced. He's a better time trialer than Prologer, but he's fairly well balanced. A 75 is going to do him well. It's much better than Bernal. Sivikov is not going to do much better. It's going to be difficult for any of those guys to gain time on Karaman. He's got a great chance of hanging on to the overall. I know you can only see part of the email, but a quick update here. Luko is going to Novo Nordisk for next season. One of the numerous riders that I did not re-sign. Luko is decent, but at a 73 overall and 26 already. And you can see his great strength is time trialing. Otherwise, he is just a domestique and has been for a long time. And even though it says he's got great potential, he started way low compared to a lot of our other guys. And at 26, he doesn't have that many levels left. He might top out at probably 75, I would think. Maybe a 76 in the end, but he's not going to get a whole lot better than he is, and it's going to take him a lot of years to get to that, if not already near the max now. Last stage, 8.8 kilometers, and with 2 riders just outside of the top 10, is slowly slipping back, even though they're not great. I think I've fairly well got it figured out on how hard you need to push. And it's a mixture. It's a combination between going an 87 and an 86. It's all about red bar on this one. Otherwise, you lose a lot of pace. You want to come out strong. So with an 87 to get up to speed quickly. Isakov now at 51 kilometers an hour, 52 kilometers an hour, 53. Now we can back off for a little while, conserve a little bit of energy, kind of back and forth a little bit along the way to try to maintain a good tempo, but then push again at the end. As Isakov now into that zone where you want to go 87 for a little while, get that extra kilometer per hour or so. And, Karaman, fantastic race day condition. He's got a chance to win this stage with that type of race day condition. Be into the 80s. Okay, back to Isakov for a moment. Back to about neutral. We will back off here before the corner where it's more technical, but maintain speed fairly well. Okay, and coming into that final kilometer, we will go 87. Normally I'm rolling about an 88 from here, but he does not have the spare energy to do that, so we'll keep it at an 87. And then make that push for the line. And 26, just 24 seconds down. So Isakov, fairly solid time. I don't see any contenders right now on top, except for Matteo Jorgensen. 3 seconds down. Jorgensen has crossed the line just 3 seconds down, so we got to watch out for that one. Sivikov was 13 down at the time check. Hermans is 16 down. Bernal is 17 down. And we now focus on Karaman. We'll back off to 86 now, and we're already coming up on the time check. So he's been going 87 for quite a while, and he is just 2 seconds off the pace here at the time check. And now already back into kind of that happy zone where we can start pushing 87 earlier rather than later. And now 88 on our way to the line with 1K to go. Back to an 87. Try to see it out to the line. 2 seconds down. He is 1 second ahead of Jorgensen. That is not a stage win. Just off of that, Jacob Fischer has taken it. But Karaman gets a podium on the stage, and that will complete the overall victory, which is a great result. Jorgensen might have found himself all the way up in second place. No sign of any other contenders. He has 30 seconds behind for him. Second place, Bernal slips to third. Hermans 1 second. Sivikov 1 second. And Isakov just behind all of that, further 6 seconds back. Turpin, Fischer, Isao, and Rutsch are your top 10. Isakov slips out of the top 5. Unfortunate for that, but not much of a time trialist, so that's okay. Those other guys putting in a slightly better time. But we get the overall win. That's the one that counts. It's a 1-2 in the under 25s as well. I like that. Team, second. Really short episode today. It's just a natural break. There aren't any other races for a little while that are going to fit in, and I'm on a little bit of a time crunch at the moment. European Championships, Marte has won ahead of Merlier and Bennett. Obvious sprint on that one. The European Championship time trial went to Wout van Aert ahead of Bloom Levy and Stefan Kung. Bypassing stages entirely, the overall at the end of La Vuelta looks like this. Ciccone claims a 15-second victory over Michael Storer, with Van Gils in third, just a few seconds ahead of Wilco Kelderman, who I do believe led for a while in this race. Hindley takes fifth. Fernandez. That is looking like the kind of race that we probably could have won with a Karaman, or at least been fighting for that podium at the very least. I mean, Ciccone, 80 mountain, 77 hills, better stamina resistance, but you know, you're looking at a rider who, with the bonuses, is about as good as Karaman. But that's with bonuses. We tend to compete with the guys who, without the bonuses, would be level compared to us. So, you know, we punch above our weight a bit, but not massively. You know, there was no 85 mountain Bernal here, no Pogacar, not the best riders that definitely can beat us. I think we probably could have been in that fight. Rally Cycling have themselves in 6th place next season, so we're not the only Continental Pro team moving up. Quebec ASOS, potentially Delco, potentially number of World Tour teams that are on the cusp of getting relegated. Trek, Del Hayes, Apple, Alpecin Phoenix, way down into the mid Continental Pro levels. The highest rated Continental side, Leopard Pro, and Zalf Euromobile. The first 4 full stars is Hagens Berman, and they are just inside Continental Pro. The Bubble is the next one below them at just a sliver below. I mean, that's easily 9/10. Caja Rural is going to be a Continental team, which they were this year as well, on the cusp of 4 stars. B&B Hotels, just a ton of overdevelopment in this database right now, that you have good teams competing in Continental. You have great teams that easily would have made World Tour at the start of this database, barely making Continental Pro right now. So it really, really takes something to make World Tour. And while we are comfortable, we're almost not. I mean, we're looking at 4.5 stars. 4.5 stars is what it takes to make Continental Pro, or to make World Tour. And Trek Segafredo, along with Bahrain Victorious, are 4.5 stars. So is Del Hayes. You're only getting under the 4.5 star mark. Well, maybe Del Hayes, I think it's a shade below. I think it looks like they're 4.4. Turkish Airlines is 4.3. But that's how tight it is. That is how tight it is. And, you know, with at least 9 sides at a full 5 stars, I want to say Cofidis is as well. I think Jumbo Visma might be 4.9. AG2R is 4.9. EF is 4.9. I think we come in at about 0.8, 0.75, 0.7-ish, somewhere in there. It's awfully tight at the top. Individual rankings, Pogacar comfortably on top, and we do not make the top 18 at all. Karaman all the way down in 26th in the World Tour rankings. But in the Continental rankings, which I've done very little in Continental races, one of the ones we just did, Tour of Britain, is one of the few we've done this season that we didn't quick sim, and that's mostly because it's a quiet period and I wanted to get some racing in. But Bernotas and Karaman, mostly through quick sims, have placed themselves very well. Super Prestige is a better story. That's the balance that shows Karaman has focused on World Tour but isn't great there, but that has done really well when he has raced Continental Pro, and he's up in 14th. Individually, not so great. In terms of victories, Bernotas leading the way for us with 6 this year, but a lot of podiums, and I've only controlled him a couple times this season, as my focus has been on the climbs, not on the sprints, and on the time trials. As a team, we are still the highest Continental Pro rated team in the World Tour, just ahead of Bahrain Victorious. We are now 16th. Continental, without even trying, without my participation, we are 6th, on the cusp of 2nd. And let's be honest, I'm not as strong of a team this year as we were a year ago. Without Berlikov, we took a huge step backwards. Bernotas and our sprints took a step forward, but and our classics riding took a step forward, but not in a way that meant substantial points, just being competitive as opposed to being outside of the top 50. Super Prestige as a team, just 13th this year. Definitely a step back. And I know I've heard it in the comments repeatedly that it's been a hard year. I think I commented on this not too long ago that my expectations, and I think many of you, the expectations went up when we found success with Berlikov. When Berlikov wasn't with us this year, it was a different ballgame. It was a very different game. And it was a tough year without a strong leader. And with those raised expectations, it was disappointing when we weren't meeting those expectations. But it hasn't been a bad year. For a Continental Pro team, we are comfortably at the top. We're 500 points clear of anybody else in the Super Prestige. But we were a lot higher than 13th last year. Last year, we were 5th, 6th in the Super Prestige at the end of the year. But that was mostly because of Berlikov. We don't have him. Next year, we are a team that is getting stronger, not weaker. So look for us to bounce back up. Plus, we're headed for World Tour. We're going to get that full calendar. This is a partial World Tour calendar where the bulk of the points are. We'll see if we can do more next season, but I strongly suspect we should be competing in the top 5 or so come next year. Still no Berlikov on the roster, though. How much will Karaman develop? How much will Petrov or others develop? Will we have more than one leader? Hopefully we do. I think tactically it'll make sense to not necessarily go for GC in all 3 Grand Tours. I think we're going to have to pick and choose where we go for it. I think we absolutely could go for it in La Vuelta. Maybe we go for it in the Giro. And maybe we do what we intended to do this year, which is in the Tour, go for the King of the Mountains. Not necessarily with Karaman. I got to figure out who I could go with for that. Or I need to literally lose a ton of time with Karaman where they seriously do not even bat an eyelash as to letting him go in the break. Meaning he's going to have to be way down the order for that to be a thing. Because, as we already saw this year, even when I'm outside of the top 10 and riders that are placed higher than me that have better ratings than I do, they go in the break and nobody bats an eyelash. But they were not willing to let us get in the break. Maybe we need to be a whole lot further behind before they don't care. Well, anyway, that is going to do it for this episode. By the way, we do have 26 wins this season. We have amassed quite a bit. And other than a single Continental team who's at the top of the Continental rankings, we do lead the way when it comes to non-World Tour teams. I'm Decathlon Gamer. Like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Have a good one. Be safe out there. Let's look at one more thing here before I say bye for now, which I just said. Colombia, Denmark, Australia, usual suspects at the top. But where do we fit in? Latvia, 12th. That's Berlikov. Not breaking the mold this season. Not in the World Tour, anyway. In the Super Prestige, it's your usual suspects at the top. Latvia is the only one that has really broken the mold and climbed up the charts a bit. Lithuania is another one that has climbed. Eritrea has climbed. We've got a few nations that have moved up. Anyway, bye for now.